were one, that Obama would say nothing about blocking the Trans-Pacific Partnership or...
Oh, boy, that's a nightmare coming down the track.
Right.
Yeah. Oof.
Or he would say anything about Citizens United.
Right.
And I don't want to say I was right, because he did mention the TPP.
Right.
But he mentioned it as a, that he was for it, and we need to pass it, to make the global economy more competitive or whatever.
No.
He got it. That's the only time the Republicans stood up and clapped for him.
Yeah.
That's a telling sign.
Right.
So a lot of times my friends look at me like I'm crazy when I call him Black Reagan, but because he'll do certain things, and you're like, yeah, that's my guy. And then he does something like this where you're like, no.
Well, that was another thing about the rebuttal where Joni Joan was talking about, trying to make improvements so that what America makes, we can export. What the fuck do we make? We don't make anything.
Oh, that's not true. We make bombs and guns and bullets and tanks and planes.
Okay.
That's 100% true. And the only reason that we make that stuff is that, at least in apparel and and boots, we have to, like, if it's military apparel, it has to be made in the United States. I've worked in two companies. Like, the only things keeping, like, North and South Carolina used to have huge textile mills and a huge factory, base, and now it is only military stuff. But yeah, we don't make any consumer goods.
Yeah.
And the TPP is just going to move us further into a globalization market where we're not going to make anything then either. Like, these two things are unconnected. It's a fiction.
Exactly. Complete fiction. And my understanding of it is basically what it's going to do is it's going to nationalize, or it's going to turn corporations, multinational corporations, into these entities that will be protected and can now actually sue the U.S. government. So if we do something to infringe upon their profits or the way they do business, they'll be able to sue the government, and then the taxpayers will be on the hook for paying these huge corporations. And it's being done in secret. They're going to fast track it. Mm-hmm. And then when it does come to the floor, no amendments allowed. And each representative will get 88 seconds to debate it. And nobody's seen it because it's being done basically in secret. So,
well, that sounds like a good policy.
Yeah.
Nobody sees it. Nobody reviews it. Nobody knows what it says. Oh, my God, we have to vote for it.
Yeah. And this is...
Here's your dinner, Randy. We're not going to tell you what's in it, but you have to eat it.
This is a Democrat doing this?
Yeah. He's also not prosecuted a single bankster.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no,
So that's the part that makes my head want to explode.
No, there's good reason to have your head explode.
Right.
But, let's talk affordable health care for 1 second. Because also, the last thing that Joni said that really aggravated me was about how Obama had fucked up. She's like, so many people are suffering with the Affordable Health Care Act. I'm like,
name one is what I want to say to her.
There's maybe that is. I mean, I'm sure there's scenarios.
Small anecdotal.
Scenarios like something about people who had catastrophic insurance and now they can't get those same rates and stuff. But the fact that there are fewer families raising their kids in fear that, like, what if my kid gets really sick? Like the fact that it is available for, like, that takes, in my opinion, takes the United States back into being a first world country. Like, if you live in a country where if you trip and fall in a sewer, get sick, you're gonna die. Like, that's old world. Like, that's
right. That's an undeveloped country.
That's what the Republicans call the good old days.
Yeah. Exactly. But like that is one thing. I know that he's not perfect. He's not gotten as much done as we wanted. But I the fact that they were trying to criticize affordable health care after the speech.
It's crazy. Ridiculous. And I think what she meant is, there's people suffering is secretly there could be so many more people suffering.
Right.
And,
the problem is that, the hospital beds are just full of poor kids. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Gosh, we can only get rid of the poor.
Yeah.
Oh, what a nightmare,
someday,
you guys.
Just keep dreaming.
I think it was interesting that she told this wonderful story, the anecdote about putting the bread bags on her shoes during the winter. Oh, pity poor me. And then it turns out that her family's received almost $500,000 in farm subsidies over the last 8 years.
Well, she's not using the bread bags anymore.
Yeah. In
well,
fact,
I don't think that was implied at all.
She was wearing a very stylish pair of camouflage heels last night. Yeah, very nice. But the thing about the farm subsidies, they rail about big government, right?
Oh, yeah.
About a smaller government, and then
pause out.
Yeah, every time.
Oh, yeah.
Every time. And real quick on Affordable Care Act, unfortunately, it's probably going to be repealed, and just because they're still hell-bent on repealing. I kind of know they're going to repeal it because, Republicans hell-bent on repealing it maybe the 60th time or whatever, and the second reason is because I'm on it. And,
right, because it's something that's made your life better.
Right,
yes,
right.
And made your family's life better, so it
have
can't
nice
possibly.
Things. Yeah.
No, just put it in the garbage.
It's personal now.
Yeah, and we have Kaiser through the Affordable Care Act.
Wow.
Yeah, it's great.
It's awesome.
We have a doctor and everything.
Oh.
So speaking of, so you were talking about things happening in secret behind closed doors. And that for some reason made me think about, I was reading that presidential, intentions, declaration to run they don't do it on television anymore. They just put it on a website. It's so interesting. We're so separated from the place we used to get, the unified center of information, that now you just post to YouTube.
Yep.
I might do it.
You might run.
I just might post to YouTube declaring my intention to run. People don't seem to believe in Hillary.
I'd like to see somebody not named Clinton or Bush.
Well,
I
think that's one of the problems, right? Because she's very, she's very political.
There's nobody more qualified than Hill, though.
And she knows where all the bodies are buried.
Yeah,
you buried a few of them, I think.
But she's very calculating in focus group driven and everything else. And then if you're looking at a Jeb Bush, Hillary Clinton campaign, how do you?
It does feel like Rocky IV, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels like Rocky IV.
I will break you.
And she can't make the differentiation that he's an insider and he's just got a family name,
right.
and all of that.
Nope.
And so I think she's got a lot of baggage. I mean,
it's it's a decision between a crap sandwich and a turd sandwich. Oh, yum.
Yeah, I'd probably go with the turd sandwich.
What kind of deluded self-esteem? I think that it's Mormonism that makes Mitt Romney still think about running.
Yeah. Well, that's the white horse prophecy.
Yeah. That
they talk about in the church.
There's no reason. Three-time no.
Yeah.
It's no good can come of this.
No. Romney should just bow out and count his money that's lying in an offshore account.
Yeah.
And just leave this country alone.
Yeah, and then he says this time around he would put together programs for the disadvantaged or the poor and the middle class or whatever.
He doesn't know any people like that.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
He doesn't know anyone like that. Even the guys that clean his pool and mow his lawn, he doesn't know them.
Well, I think until we get money out, that's the other anniversary that happened this week is Citizens United is a 5-year anniversary, and I think it's something like going on close to $3 billion of free speech since in the last 5 years that has been funneled through politicians seeking office. But until that's overturned, I don't think anything's going to change. I don't think we can impact climate change and I predicted in December on this show that the TPP would pass, that Obama was going to push that through and sign it. But it's... And are you
Why
guys?
aren't you making football bets? It feels like you could make some money on this.
I know I should, but I don't. I boycotted the NFL this year. After being a Minnesota Viking fan for 50 years, I haven't watched a minute of football all year.
I've watched, I think, 2 games this year, and that was it.
What? Catch me up. What brought on your boycott?
Oh,
Michael Sam.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, it was it's a combination of things, but I don't like the way they've treat players with the concussions. And it's such a violent sport. And so I've always been kind of like, you watch it, but I would never let my boys play it kind of thing.
Right.
And so I kind of feel like a hypocrite. But then, the wife beating and the murdering, and then Adrian Peterson, like, abusing his kid with the switch.
Right.
And then the commissioner trying to cover up all these things. But the tipping point was I was listening to sports radio, which I used to listen to all the time, and these jackasses couldn't believe. There was some poll that said 8% of the NFL fans were going to stop watching. They were like, there's no way. We'll never lose fans. It's too integrated in the fabric of America. People are barbecuing at Super Bowl parties, and I was like, click, fuck you guys, I'm done.
I'm out of here.
You did it because they told you wouldn't.
That's right. My mind told me not to do it. I did it anyway.
I also have a problem with the fact that the NFL is a tax-free organization.
Oh, yeah.
They're not paying any
all
taxes.
profit.
Billionaires.
Billionaires making more money.
Billionaires and slobbering troglodytes.
That's the other thing that Obama mentioned during his State of the Union that I really hope. Let's have the rich kick in a little bit more.
Yeah, but he's like saying things that will never happen, right? Because it's all
that
Republican controlled.
Yeah,
so.
I know.
But it's good that he's got the bully pulpit. Well, that's all he's got, right? That's the only thing.
He's got a veto pen with an extra ink cartridge.
Yeah,
so.
He's going to need it.
He's going to need it. If you raised the Social Security bar from $114,000, that's where the Social Security stops taking money from people. You kick that up to $500,000. Social Security is solid for the next 50 years, completely fully funded, and I can't really think of an argument against it. I mean, is a rich person going to go, no, I need to be a little bit richer so that the country's poor.
But apparently that's
apparently
what
that
they
is
do.
exactly the case.
That's exactly what
because,
they do.
Because there's never enough money. There's never enough money, hippie. Take your bread bags and get out of here.
Yeah,
because
man.
If you've got a 20-foot yacht, your buddy's got a 40-foot yacht.
Yeah.
Like no one has ever it looks like madness. Like living in California, it has become like it looks like madness. No one ever says, you know what, this is enough money.
Yeah,
this is enough. Because you could always, invest more, but they're whatever it is, more.
It's fine, but they're not even buying toys with it. They're just sitting on it.
Just sitting on it, having it.
And it's where it's not being taxed. It's in another country, yet they're living here and getting the benefits of being a United States citizen, and they're not kicking in.
What if we get the technology where you can have your whole head gold-plated, and if they lost that money, I'm not going to have all my friends are going to have a gold-plated head, and I don't have one.
Yeah.
I would be more than happy to let the 1% do their head in gold if it was like Game of Thrones, where they just pour that cauldron right over his head.
Hot.
Thanks for playing our game. You are not the last dragon.
There's got to be hope, and part of it is getting the money out. We got to get the money out, and so I'd like to encourage everybody to join the Wolf Pack. Are you familiar? Are you familiar with the Wolf Pack?
Yep.
Wolf Pack is Cenk Uygur. Did I say that right?
Yep.
The Young Turks Network. Anyway, he started this thing, the Wolf Pack, and it's an effort to take the money out, overturn Citizens United, and bring back a more representative government. And the way that they're going to do it is they're going state by state and talking to the state legislators and getting them to introduce, I think it's called like Article 5, but basically requesting a constitutional convention to request a 28th Amendment to overturn Citizens United. So the way that works, if you get 2/3 of the states to do it, then you can add an amendment, and you can do it without the Congress.
Right.
So I think right now there's maybe 2 states or 3 states that have signed on. California is one of them. Mm-hmm. And I think there's 16 or 17 others where it's in the process of being presented. But in some cases, what they've done is if they're getting blocked at the state level, then this group, because it's a PAC, will help fund and get elected legislators that will present it. This happened one time. It happened back in 1893. They started an effort because before senators weren't directly elected. I don't know how they were appointed. I don't know.
You woke up and there was lamb's blood above your door.
Yeah.